Hello everyone and welcome back to World Warplanes. This time we'll be taking a look at the Tier 7 Japanese fighter. It is the A7M. The Repu? I don't know. Whatever you want to pronounce the Repu, or whatever. I know I pronounced that wrong. I don't even care. So anyway, we'll go over the history of this plane real quick. Then go over the stats and jump into two battles. I got two battles on this plane. Both are great games. They're not as great as the A6M5 battle, but they're still very good. So, if we'll take a look, we've got this is in the 0 line. So, someone told me this is a 0. I don't think it is a 0 because if you look at it, this plane gets the designation 0. This one gets the designation 0. This one gets the designation 0. This one does not get the designation 0. So that's my argument for it not being a 0. But it plays like a 0. So if you want to call it a 0, fine. But it's technically not a 0, according to this game. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Because, you know, I'm probably wrong. But I don't care. Anyway. If we look at the history, developed in 1942 to 1945 for the Imperial Japanese Navy as a successor to the A6M. So yeah, the A6M was a 0. So you have the A6M1, A6M2, A6M5. Those are all zeros. This is an A7M. It's the next plane. So therefore it is not a 0. Ha ha ha. I'm right, you're wrong. Only 8 prototypes were produced and tested by the end of the war. So, you know, it was supposed to be the next plane technologically from the A6M zeros, but, you know, the Battle of World War II ended, so, you know, they didn't exactly need this plane anymore. So, anyway, that's the reason why it wasn't really produced, but, you know, a couple of them were made, and, you know, it does look kind of cool. It's definitely a lot bigger than the A6M5. If you compare it, it is a step up in terms of size. Well, that's probably because they mounted a bigger engine, so they had to improve the airframe to match that newer engine. But enough rambling. Let's take a look at what this plane has to offer, according to Wargaming, that is. First, autocannon armament effective in close combat. Oh boy. Wargaming, sometimes I wonder where you get these. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had a phone call, but I think with the power of video editing, I should be able to just remove that, and we should be all good. So, anyway, what I was talking about was the gun armament and how Wargaming can't get it right. Gun autocannon armament effective in close combat. What do you have? What are you given? You're given 420s, and I'll pop them up so you can look at them, but I think they are the same. Yeah, it's the same. Alright, so I'll just leave one of them up. But anyway, you get 4 of these 20s. They're not the same as the Tier 6 version, but you do get 4 of them. And look at the range on these guns. Almost 2,500 feet. How is that close? That is not close combat. That is mid to long range combat. So, it's exceptional. The range on these guns is fantastic. Wargaming, get your crap together. It's not close combat. I mean, okay, let's put it this way. The closer you are to the target, the more of your shots will hit, right? So effectively, the closer you are, the more effective your guns are. But that doesn't mean that your guns are effective in close combat. And only close combat. No, they're close at like mid to long range. So you can still hit planes at over 3,000 feet if you get lucky. You're not going to do it consistently, right? It's going to be like a one-off deal. You're probably going to have reduced damage. But you can hit your target up to 3,000 feet away. These guns are not short range. you know, but with stats later on, then, you know, you're going to want to be firing close range. But if someone tries to zip in on you and zip away, you can flip on them and get some shots on them as they try to run away because of the range, which is nice because many turn burners don't get it. So anyway, if we look at it, we got A7M2 is what you upgrade to. That's the airframe. Anyway, low survivability often catches fire. It does have low survivability, but it does feel better than the A6M5. The A6M5 had a 7 survivability rating. This is a 9, so it does go up and it does feel better. But you know, you definitely don't have good survivability, especially at tier 7. But you know, it is what it is, and you just have to keep that in mind while you're playing this plane. And then it also often catches fire. I guess that's kind of a staple with these Japanese planes. I don't know. I don't really care if I catch on fire. It might be a little bit annoying, but, you know, it is what it is. I make it work. So anyway, then you have good airspeed and boost. No, you don't. Your airspeed sucks. You are super slow at this tier. And that's why sometimes I wonder how they get these ratings. If it's like generic for the tier, then yeah, you might have better airspeed than a GA or something, but that doesn't mean you have good airspeed. You might have you have like the lowest airspeed of any fighter. So no, you do not have good airspeed, and your boost is not that much better either. So no, you do not have good airspeed. Your top speed, the fastest you can possibly go at your best altitude without being in a dive, 404 miles per hour without hitting the boost, of course. That is really slow. That is not good. Not at tier 7. So no, you are not fast. No, you do not have a good engine. But anyway, next point. Very high maneuverability in horizontal turns. By very high, they mean the best at the tier. With only 8 seconds to turn 360 degrees, that is exceptional. There are not really any planes that can outdo that unless you're putting a ton of equipment and crew skills on. But if that's the case, and you have an equally skilled and decked out A7M, the A7M will still beat you. So keep that in mind. Very, very good maneuverability. But at the same time, just make sure that you keep in mind your rate of roll sucks. 100 degrees per second, that sucks. But when you're stuck in that horizontal combat, you're good. So, a little tip when you're facing the A7M and you're kind of in a boom and zoomer, a little tip would be to zip to the right, flip your wings, zip to the left, and it might be a little bit tricky for that A7M to keep on you. Because of that slow rate of roll, you might be able to escape pretty well. So, boom and zoom, don't just go like straight in, straight out, but instead come straight in and then go left, right, left, right, left, right, out, and it might make it difficult on the A7M to get shots on you. Just food for thought. Don't ever get in a maneuvering combat, but if you go back and forth a little bit, it might be a little bit tricky for the A7M to stay on target. Just because it has a terrible rate of roll. Keep that in mind. That's kind of a rule of thumb with any Japanese plane that you're facing. Just keep going back and forth because they suck with roll rate. So if you can use that to your advantage, it might work pretty well. But you know, when you're flying this plane, just keep that in mind as well because you don't have a good roll rate. Not that it's useful in that many situations, but you know, it can be useful in some situations. Just not as important as this stat, which is your best at tier. So very effective in low altitude maneuvering combat. Well, yeah, you're not getting mid to high altitude in this plane. Your altitude performance is quite abysmal at only 3,609 feet. That sucks. If you compare that to this A6M5, yeah, it is slightly better, but nothing to write home about. It's really bad. You do need to keep this plane quite low altitude. That is where it performs. You can't really get it to perform anywhere else. If everyone's flying higher than you, you're going to be forced to go up a little bit to get shots. But by going up that high, you've made yourself a sitting duck. So you just have to accept that. If you get shot down at higher altitude, as much as it sucks, right? Because you have to go up there to get shots sometimes. But when you go up there, you just have to realize that you have to be very, very, very careful against the planes that are around, because they will shut you down pretty easily because you're going pretty slow at that altitude. But just keep that in mind, you'll be fine. But anyway, that's about it for the stats. Let's show you how to set it up properly, and two battles right afterward. First of all, I don't do fire extinguishers because I never do fire extinguishers. But if you want to replace one of these consumables, reinforced control surfaces might actually be a very viable option. You just activate it and you get super increased maneuverability for 10 seconds. Literally nothing on the face of the planet will ever be able to outturn this plane if you activate that and have your maneuverability consumables on. So it's food for thought, but your maneuverability is only so good anyway. You almost never need to use that, but you know, it's there if you want to use it. I just don't, but you know, just food for thought. If we go to upgrades, you're gonna have to research this airframe before you can get the guns. So research the airframe, and then I would research this gun. Why would I research it? Well, because if you research this gun also gets researched because they're the exact same gun. So all you have to do is research one of these. You'll get both of them. There's no point in researching these ones. I think these are the ones for A6M5. No, they're A7M exclusive. So don't even worry about researching that. It's worthless. There's no point. 0 point. Research this gun, and you'll get this gun automatically. Of course, I guess if you want to go for elite status, you could get this one, which I did. But it's just something to keep in mind. Don't even worry about getting these ones, unless you really want to have these 20s instead. I guess I'll pop up the stats if you want to see them, but let's look at it real quick. You get less damage per second, same rate of fire, and less effective range. There's no point in getting it, so don't get it. Don't even research that if you don't need to. And then go for the engine, and you'll be fine. As for paint, also for upgrades, just the standard gun accuracy one and the maneuverability upgrades. So, pretty simple. Just showed it. You want to increase your maneuverability because it's the best aspect of the plane. You do get a free camouflage, so go ahead and mount that if you like it. Otherwise, you know, you can get rid of it. I don't care. And you can mount your beta sticker on it, which makes me a very happy camper. I'm very happy about that. Always love to be able to mount my beta sticker. That's a very, very important stat to me. If it can mount the beta sticker, it's a keeper in my book. Not really, because if I need garage slots, I might get rid of you. But let's just pretend, okay? Makes me happy. And my crew is in the tier 8 for this line, so let me go find it real quick. Just so I can show the crew. So we're popping up. I did marksman 1 and 2, but for the A7M, putting the aerodynamics expert and aerobatics expert, definitely beneficial as well. This one increases the performance of your maneuverability equipment by 40%. That's a significant improvement, so go ahead and put that on there. Or this one increases maneuverability in all axes by 2%, so it's not quite as good as the equipment module, but it is essentially pretty good. So go ahead and put those two on there if you want. They are awesome. And that about wraps it up for the A7M. That is all I have to offer. I'm getting really close to 100 subscribers. When I made this video, it's the same day that I made the A6M5 review. So I'm still 15 subscribers away. So if you want to get me up to 100 subscribers, I would deeply appreciate that. I do have something special planned for 100 subscribers. And of course, don't subscribe if you don't like my content. But if you like what I make and you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it a lot. And I do have something special in mind for any subscribers. Well, not any subscribers, anyone, but something special when I reach 100 subscribers for everyone to enjoy as a celebration. But that will be announced when I actually get 100 subscribers. So, yay, food for thought. And with that being said, let's jump into some gameplay. Alright, and welcome back to the gameplay section. This time, we are going to be in a tier 8 battle, so that's exciting. There's also an airstrip in the center, so you know where I'm going. This is basically the same deal as the A7M, right? You have crappy airspeed, crappy altitude performance, and worst-in-class survivability. So you have a lot of worst-in-class stuff. But at the same time, you have some of the best-in-class stuff, such as the best maneuverability at the tier, and your guns have very good range, and they are very powerful guns as well. So if you keep that in mind and use it to your advantage, this is an air defense plane, not a capture points person. I know some people are just obsessed with going to every single sector and trying to take them all just so that they can win by supremacy every battle, just to improve their win rate. And no, I play for fun. And if that kind of playstyle is you, well, first of all, win rate's not the end of the world. So play for fun. I play for good scores. I like seeing fun battles, even battles. In fact, I intentionally don't take sectors sometimes just so I can have an even battle. I know that's unheard of. Nobody ever does that. You're a complete moron. Prince of Hyrule. Yes, I am. But I love even battles, and I will do everything in my power to make it an even battle. Even if that costs me the game sometimes. I would much rather have an even battle and a loss than a Raffle Stomp loss or a Raffle Stomp win. So, that's the way it is. That's the way I do it. And I'm just going to camp the airstrip, and when you're going to play this plane, you do have to accept that. If you do not use this plane as a defensive fighter, but rather going from sector to sector, you're doing it wrong. You're not using this plane to its greatest potential. That is where this plane shines. And also, don't go high altitude unless you absolutely have to. I'm really quite too high at just being 4,000 feet in the sky, which is retarded. That's like 1,000 meters, and I'm already in the yellow zone. So yes, you have abysmal altitude performance. But at the same time, that's what you just gotta live with it. You just gotta put up with it. You've got excellent guns that just tear everything apart. Look at the 20s, the 420s, just absolutely ruin these guys. And they do overheat quickly, and they take forever to cool down. So you do have to be selective when you're firing. Don't just hold down the trigger when they're overheated. If you have to, stop firing at a target for 5 seconds, let your guns cool down, then open fire, and you'll kill them much easier. As you can see right there, just buttered that guy. The guns are excellent on this plane. That's the whole line. I love it because it's got excellent guns coupled with excellent maneuverability. Most of the time, you'll have either excellent maneuverability but crappy guns, or great guns and crappy maneuverability. This plane gets both, but at the expense of basically every other stat possible, which is fine as long as you can use it to its advantages, right? Which is maneuvering combat at low altitudes. Higher altitudes, you just suck at it. So you're almost always fine in the yellow zone, which is sad, but it's what you gotta accept. Now here we go. There's a VB-10. He's trying to run away, and as he's running away, the range of the guns allows me to actually kill him. Most turn fighters can't do that, and it just gives this plane such flexibility in that regard. There's a lot of other regards that's not flexible in, especially its survivability and airspeed, and also altitude performance, right? Those are the 3 downfalls. But the two that it is good, maneuvering and long range sniping is actually really good. This guy's super close, so you're going to get to see how good these guns are at super close range. And see, they don't really seem that much better than at longer range. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, and there you go. Spitfire came in. He didn't like me very much. I shot him down once before, and so I died. I paid for my life. But we have the airstrip, and as long as that Spitfire doesn't take it immediately, I'll be able to respawn and just kind of camp there even longer. So, like I said, maps with an airfield in the center is what these Japanese planes are designed for. That is their sole purpose. Like, oh, it is so great. Well, he shot me down once, and so I don't want him on my tail again. So I almost kill him, but you know, it's kind of a good thing I didn't shut him down. Otherwise, he'd get mad at me and come after me even more. So thank you, bot, for killing him so he doesn't come after me. It's pretty stupid. I don't normally do that, but it's pretty funny. Alright, P-47N, super easy death. He died very quickly. P-51K, he's flying away. Ooh, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Now I'm even more rhyming. Okay, we just rammed a heavy fighter. No big deal. I can survive it. Not. Normally I should have been killed, but, you know, hey, I'll take it. If I don't die, I'll take it. But at the expense of basically all my health, unfortunately. So now it's one of those situations that there's no planes over here, but I'm not going to go to another sector really, because that's not what this plane's designed for. You shouldn't be going from sector to sector. But we almost have the command center. That's where most of the planes are right now. And so and it will not give us supremacy if we take it. So I'm contemplating going there. And also, one other thing, I don't really want my bomber strike squadron to be attacking the command center. I'd much rather them be attacking the factory. So if I do take the command center, it's not a bad deal. Especially since they just took the airstrip, and I don't really know why. But now we're in a turn fight with a Spitfire. The Spitfire is really, really good. If you've seen in my Spit 14 review, that plane is exceptional beyond belief. So, of course, you know, he may not have quite as much maneuverability, but it's pretty competitive. It does have very excellent maneuverability. By no means is it bad. So now we just kind of wait and wait and wait some more. Still waiting to respawn here. Squall line's in, well, now. Squall line is now. Still a little while on the timer, not too much longer. The battle is almost over, but let's see if we can squeeze out any bigger score from this battle. We do have 16,000 already, and Hero of the Sky. This plane is very nice at holding sectors. Unfortunately, I did not do my job this battle too much because I kept letting the airfield fall, and that was my main goal. My whole purpose this battle was to defend it, and I can't even do that. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. If our bombers take the command center before they get points, then we'll be set. But if they don't, we are going to lose. So let's hope our bombers take the factory. I'm going back into the airstrip to try to take it. And yes, we do get the factory. So that is good news. And if I wanted to make the battle last longer, I guess I could not take the airstrip. But all the targets are really clustered together. I'm pretty sure the Spitfire is still alive that wants my head on a pole. So I'm not gonna go out of my way to take down the rest of the planes. It could be suicide, and it could cost us the game. So at this point, I'm just gonna try to take the sector. My gun's overheated, so I decided, and I had people on my tail, so I decided instead of letting my guns cool down and stay on the guy's tail, I would just let my guns cool and get off his tail until my guns are cooled down. So we do take him out, which is good. We almost have the airstrip. They almost have the command center. But if we can take it, I do want to win this. It's not like I want even battles just so I can lose. Like, it's not why I get even battles. But I like them because they're exciting, right? So we do get superiority. We do stop them. At that point, I think it was probably necessary. Otherwise, we probably would have lost, or it would have been a little bit too close for comfort. So we do end up killing them through superiority. But let's see if we can pick up one more kill before the end of the battle. Yes, we do get one more kill, and that allows us to get 20,000 personal points. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad to have a 20,000 personal point game for this review. We get a bunch of medals. I'll let you guys look through them real quick. We even get the Hunter Award, which you have to do, I think you have to like kill 5 planes from the enemy squall line 2 battles in a row, or something like that, because it's not a super common award. Oh, we didn't get to see it, unfortunately. Let's go back to the hangar and see if we can figure it out. What that medal is actually. Come on. Come on. Load in. There we go. 25 aerial kills. Excellent. We did capture 3 sectors, which is kind of cool. There was a special going on for plane zeros, so that's why I did that. Made 207,000 credits. Not bad. Not bad at all. At tier 7 with a standard account. I will take it. 6,000 damage to aerial targets. That is really good. Oh yeah, okay, there we go. 6 air defense aircraft in 2 battles. 2 consecutive battles. So that is a pretty good award. It's not something you get too often. But that is the first replay. On to the second replay. Why did it repeat? Anyway, we're going on to the second replay. And welcome back to the second replay. So, this time we are top tier. Same map, different layout, but the layout still has 2 command centers and an air base this time rather than an air strip. So it'll allow us to repair ourselves in the center, which we could use to our advantage quite easily, honestly. So let's see if we can get into the center objective. That's obviously what we're going to be doing, right? Because I really don't think jumping from sector to sector is a good idea in these planes. And as long as you are camping those center objectives, even if there isn't a center objective, try to find a sector that's highly contested and just camp that the whole battle and you'll be fine. But it is really definitely a sector defense plane. So you really don't want to be going from sector to sector. It takes way too long. So we're coming down, and you know, I could go after the heavies, but we do have some support, so I'm putting faith in my bots and my other humans to deal with the heavy air defense so I can deal with these light fighters and stay at a lower altitude, because we all know how tragically terrible the altitude performance on this plane is. We're like just 3,700 feet, and it's still in the yellow zone, and it's just silly. But you know, it's definitely a balancing factor. It's absolutely a balancing factor, because the maneuverability and the great guns make it such a great plane already. So we got a Yak 3, that's also a tier 7 plane, so shutting him down is very useful. We got a Mosquito running away. I probably get a couple shots in before he escapes. And you can see the range on these guns is excellent, and actually he was not able to get away. And that's what happens to boom and zoomers when they go after this plane. Going head on with a Yak 9U, stupidest thing ever. Never ever ever go head on with a Yak 9U. If he was a bot, probably could have gotten away with it pretty easily. He was not a bot, he was a human. So I get punished pretty severely. Thankfully, his big ol' 45 did not hit me, I don't think, or I'd probably be dead at this point. But we're going down. We're going to pick up some repairs here, and then we're going to get back into the battle. So we're waiting. Full health. There we go. Awesome. So now that plane just died, so now I'm just kind of waiting, honestly. And that's kind of the playstyle you have to adapt to with these Japanese planes from tier 7 and lower. Tier 8 adapts a different play style. It's still pretty similar. That's kind of like, it's not super similar, but it's more similar than, you know, than some planes. But it's definitely a different play style. Yak 9U, I'm going head on with him again. Oh, I learned my lesson. No, I didn't. He still took a whole lot of health off. But he's never going to out-turn me. Never in 1,000 years. So he dies very, very easily. I'm kind of glad I killed him because he's been hurting me pretty bad this battle. Could go for repairs, or could get stuck in some battle, and I love battle. So let's get stuck in battle. It might cost me my life, but what's the risk, right? Without risk, there's no reward. So we're getting stuck right in that battle. And I don't feel very threatened. I don't feel like my health is very threatened right now. As long as I keep that heavy fighter in mind that's coming up on the radar, I should be pretty fine. Let's see if we can take down this GA. No issues whatsoever killing GAs. Like, it just melts the health off of GAs. So we're going to pick up some repairs again. I have a heavy on my tail. I don't think he's exclusively looking at me. But he is close enough that's making it so I can't get repairs. So he does need to die. So I can actually get repairs. So he dies. I have no problem with that. Oh, Yak 9U again. This is where I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Yep. That guy is a good shot. He really is. He's been hitting us pretty hard. And I wonder, I don't know if he's actually got... I don't know if he actually has the 45, because he seems to be doing a lot of damage even without the 45. I could be wrong. I haven't played the plane before, but it feels like he doesn't have that top gun unlocked right now. The way that he's been hitting me. Because if his top gun had hit me, I mean, I still lost health very quickly. But if he had the top gun, I'd be dead in one shot. One shot from his gun would have shot me down. But it hasn't, so I'm curious. But we're going to go after this GA. He's the lowest altitude plane. I don't really want to go after the other guys. We're a little bit too far away, a little bit too high in the sky. So we're going to go after this guy instead. And he dies. Awesome. We have a Spitfire 5 and a Corsair up there. And unfortunately, it just kind of requires you to gain altitude. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to gain altitude and deal with them in any way possible. We have a Corsair right there, so he's going to die as well. Almost got him. And dead. Awesome. He is gone from the game. Yak 9U again. If it was Squall Line, I'd be really happy because I could actually get rid of him permanently. I've kind of learned my lesson. Going head on with that Yak 9U several times this battle has kind of taught me that going head on with him just doesn't work. He's too good of a shot. He's hitting me even when I'm trying to dodge. I just don't have the roll rate and airspeed to really get away from him. I'm just too slow. I'm too easy of a target for him. So he does take half my health off in that short pass. Great job, Yak 9U. You were definitely playing that plane well. You could never quite kill me, thankfully, but you were taking massive chunks off of me. If I didn't have the airbase in the center, it definitely could have ended differently. But I do have an air base, so I can just come and repair every single time I go head on with that guy. I feel kind of bad, but, I'm not going to let this air base fall. It's my air base. And just as I say that, we lose the air base. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we? Alright, we do have a fighter coming inbound off to my right. Now he's kind of on my 6th. I don't know what plane that is. Hopefully it's not the Yak 9U, but we will find out. It's a Spitfire 5. Oh, that's pretty much just as bad. Try going head on, And we do kill him. So we have squalled him, but we lost half our health. And as you can see, it doesn't take much to lose your health in this plane. And most players know that shooting down A7Ms is kind of top priority because you can really get crazy scores otherwise. The battle's still going on for quite a while, so I think this battle might actually allow us to get a pretty decent score. But I do remember what the final score is, so I think something tragic is going to happen pretty soon. But we'll see, because I can't imagine, or unless we might get superiority, and that might be what ends it, which is completely possible at this point. Yeah, we got ace. There's still a couple planes over here. Not really sure what to shoot. I don't want to get superiority, but at the same time, it's kind of, that's where the targets are, right? I'm not gonna not shoot targets just because we'd get superiority. As much as I say I don't like getting superiority, it has been a pretty good game at this point. If the enemy planes had taken any more sectors, probably could have gotten a 25,000 personal point game, but that's not to be this battle. It's still going to be a higher score than last battle, but I'm only going to be able to get one more kill before the end. At least I think I'm going to get one more kill. Yes, we do get one more kill and the battle ends. That allows us to get 21,000 personal points, and that is a victory. Not nearly as many medals as last battle, but it was a higher score, and it was still a fun battle, right? So it was an even battle up to the last bit, just because they lost their planes that were taking sectors basically as soon as the squall line happened. If they hadn't lost those planes quite so quickly, and they'd taken a few more sectors, it probably would have been much more even. But, you know, it is what it is. That's kind of the battle. Yeah, so we'll take it. I'll take it. It's definitely worth it. And this is the point where I kind of allow you guys to watch the stats roll by as I talk about, is this plane worth it? And so to answer that question of whether or not this plane is worth it, the plane is absolutely worth it. As long as you're trying to keep it low whenever possible, as long as you're trying to defend sectors, you're not trying to use your airspeed to jump from sector to sector, right? Because it doesn't have the airspeed for that. And as long as you accept the fact that you get lit on fire, I don't know, that's what they say. The fire stat must be higher, but I don't really notice it that much. But you do have low survivability, that is for sure. You definitely saw it that battle. As long as you keep those factors in mind, you can really perform very, very well in this plane. It performs exceptional. Definitely a fun plane. Some of the best in tier stats, but some worst in tier stats. It makes it for a very unique plane, a very unique flying style. As long as you really do adapt to those strengths and not get hindered by those weaknesses. This plane is excellent. I've heard so many people say this is their favorite plane ever in the entire game, so it performs very well. But that being said, there is probably one more tier 7 plane at this tier that performs better and feels better in almost every regard. But I'll get to that plane eventually. I don't really have any crazy battle with it right now, but once I do get that crazy battle, you can rest assured that best plane at tier 7 will be on my channel. I will not tell you which plane that is. I'll let you guess in the comment section below. And with that being said, remember to subscribe. We're getting close to 100 subscribers. And please leave comments down below. I'd love to read them. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.